One thing that I have a soft spot for is definitely a callback to an older Lego theme, Lego game from my childhood, whether it is collectible minifigures revamping older designs to make them more modern, or like Junkbot here, just a character from a Lego property that wasn't actually made by Lego, made by a custom company. That's always good to get to. Very happy to have that. And today we have a little bit of everything in between, a prototype character that was going to be made by Lego but was not, being the Sea-Tron minifigure here, or as branded by the company's devoid copyright, the wonderful world of amazing sea people. Let's go ahead and check out the packaging of this guy. We already kind of look at the front. It is kind of fun. It has the little stamp for hanging it off center though, so that's a little goofy. Got the minifigure, nice little design on the back of the card there, where you have the classic castle crown from classic castle set, using the sort of branch piece there for some seaweeds, also a nice little design. Nothing else in the back there is really Lego specific. Flipping it around, we got the write-up about them specifically, Sea-Tron, which is the original theme that this was made for, and all the different collaborators, which I think all of those are kind of their Instagram usernames as well, where you can find them. And you get the classic "Don't eat your Lego pieces," and all that writing if you want to read that quick. But let's go ahead and get this minifigure on the stand. Taking a look at the minifigure, first thing that will jump out to you is just the amount of texture everywhere, just with the like sort of scale design. I'm sure that's what they were going for. So it's on the legs in the front and the sides, torso in the front and the back. I do really like the tail fin, I guess you would kind of call that in the back there. That is also a nice little bit of texture that matches with the scale lines and does not affect the head articulation, which is nice too, where it basically fits seamlessly with the head in the neutral sort of straight on position. And same goes for the legs, where I guess the arms and the hips are the only official minifigure parts here. You can bend the legs all the way forward, and you'll get some range back, which is actually pretty good for a Lego leg, I would feel like, especially with the molded part there. It looks like it is just kind of the hips that are affecting the movement there, not actually any of the molded parts, so nothing to complain about there. There are a couple of unique connection points, whether it is on the side of the head there. You have the eye holes, which can be used to attach a stud. Looks like it is not super tight, so there's not a lot of clutch, so you'll have to quick take your photos probably, and then take it back off since it's not really going to hold there. If I tip it on its side, it'll fall off. So that's a bit unfortunate, I guess. Maybe that's how the accurate mold is too, so I can't complain. But just want to point that out. Looks like you have like some nose holes both sides of the heads too. I do really like the like beak shape that we have going here on the head. That is kind of what they're going for, kind of like that turtle look. Overall, just like the molds are very satisfying here. I guess there's another connection point there at the top of the head, which you can use to hold a bar piece of some sort. So you can put a sword on his head. Anything else, some of the horn pieces, which probably be the more fun use of that. I guess while we're looking at it, he's got cool shaped feet too, where they do have a little bit of a web kind of design. Some Easter eggs, you'll notice all the molds have different logos on them for all the different creators. So if you looked at the card that I showed off earlier, that'll show up. So you got the ones on the feet, you have the one on the neck there, and it'll be hard to see, but there is one on the inside of the head as well. So all three creators are represented in the mold somewhere. So I think that's kind of a fun little detail you might miss out on if you aren't familiar with their logos or saw that on social media. I think that's where I ended up seeing that that was a thing. Let's see if it can sit. Just pulling out a brick so we can test that out. And ooh, you can see that the legs are bowing a little bit. You can do it. Probably wouldn't recommend it though. Just doesn't seem like it's sitting super naturally. Kind of had to force it down, so not probably something you're going to want to do. And again, you can fit it between multiple studs when it's standing with feet. So that is nice to see. Other than the sitting, I haven't had any issues with it standing on studs at all, so it feels like the legs are pretty secure after all. It would probably just be when it's sitting like that you saw. It just creates some weird stress. You're going to want to avoid that to not damage your product. And I guess let's just see like getting the arm off and on. Ooh, I'm not going to do it. it's pretty on there. I don't want to break it. So that's not going to be super easy to get off. And for the legs, let's check those and see if I can get the legs off. That is a little bit better. A little more tolerance, I guess, maybe. And yeah, you can see that the side of the torso here is very thin compared to that of a Lego minifigure. So that's another reason why I wouldn't want to mess around too much getting the arms off. They're in there. I don't need to remove them, so I'm not going to. But yeah, you can see that it's just like a little bit thinner. So just be, again, careful with your custom Lego minifigure. You can probably spend a bit of money on. But yeah, I don't have any complaints here. I don't see a need for printing since the original sort of prototype designs wouldn't have had printing. You get this in some different colors too. I just went with the basic green one because it's the cheapest option, and I didn't have to battle it out with anybody to try and get any other colors. So that made it a much easier way to get it. With that being said, let's go to some comparisons and the final verdict. This is definitely an interesting project and a very cool collaboration to see so many people come together to make a very interesting piece of history. If you've been on Lego forums, you've probably heard of Sea-Tron, seen the images on Brickshelf or whatever, which is unfortunately going to be closing down next month. So that's kind of a bummer to lose some of that bit of history from the designers that worked on these. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There's no printing on it, but all the molds seem to have pretty decent clutch and don't have like a ton of friction that you have to worry about breaking it at all. Color-wise, all the plastics seem to match. It's pretty much all custom parts other than the arms, which is kind of funny to think of it as a Lego minifigure. It was based off of a prototype of a real thing that they almost made, so it's not like it's completely alien to the Lego brand, but it is an interesting piece to see. It does have some compatibility with different elements, whether it is the eyes or the little divot in the top of the head there. But you can see it compared to like one of the older Star Wars molds, being Greedo here, where this one is just very smooth compared to what they ended up doing for some of the more detailed molds for different aliens through time. I feel like this kind of fits into the realm of like the Lego Adventurers dinosaurs, where very simplified, very smooth, but nice to throw that into my collection of classic style custom minifigures, like I pointed out in the intro, like the Orbital Spider-Man 2, I think, suit here. And again, like I said, just some of those callbacks to more modern minifigures, whether it is CMFs or just the space revival they've been kind of doing. Always looking to fill in some bit of history to add to the collection as a just general Lego enthusiast. This is a good grab. If you can grab one for retail, I would recommend it. Hopefully they do restocks or whatever eventually, but let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see more custom Lego videos or custom minifigure reviews, check out all the content on my channel. I have been Brick Radiop, and I will see you in the next video.